Hey people, I got some VC love today. I'll get to that in a second, but I just wanted to say that uh, I'm definitely going to try just follow my instinct rather than try to please people, because I made that Asian video trying to respond to a request when I wasn't ready to, and it's just not. You can tell by the comments that it's like I blew it. So I wasn't ready to make that video. You didn't do this, you didn't mention that, you didn't mention that, and then, I messed up and said somebody was, Morocco was, I wasn't, you feel me, people? So I just have to get that out of the way because, I just think it's better to just be upfront about how you are, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a human, it's like, damn, I woke up and it's kind of like, here's the thought, and I will never do this again. The thought was, okay, so this person's reminding me that they wanted me to talk about something I forgot. If I don't do it, I'm going to forget it again. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't focused. And as a result, it wasn't a good Dereck video. It wasn't. So I just want to get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? I'll never do that again because that really kind of, the response put me in a shitty mood, okay? And people probably didn't mean anything. Maybe some of you did, but it's like, that's why I trust my instinct. I don't mean, even though I'm a very opinionated person, I say things strongly, I'm never mean to people. And anyone that knows that knows that. That's why I'm so sensitive about other people coming at me. And sometimes it feels like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? If I'll be wondering, is this friendly or is this mean spirited? Sometimes I can't tell. Even at my most critical to a person, it's always done respectfully and nicely. I just I guess the thing is, if I don't really know you personally and I feel like you're coming at me as though you do, it's like, well, wait a minute, we got to talk about this, okay? All right. So, Sundodger1, I apologize that I'm just going to keep going, okay? I could start over or make another video, but I'm just going to keep going because I got to go with how I feel. And thank you so much for sending me a record that I really wanted, And it's so fitting. I happen to have this Genesis t-shirt on. I put it on this morning. Before going out to the laundromat and the post office and some other business. 1980. Yeah, that's how old this shirt is. But Gary, Sundodger1 sent me Wise After the Event by Anthony Phillips. Anthony Phillips, as you do know, and this is something I can speak on, was an original member of Genesis. One of my top bands of all time, regardless of what anyone else's opinion is, just like regardless of my opinion about your favorite bands, right? Right. We love what we love. Gary, this is cherished. This is just cherished. I have no idea why I sold my copy. The extra is the beautiful, wonderful card that you sent. And this is a really beautiful card. Really beautiful, by the artist Martin Oliver. It looks like it's Alaskan. It's an Alaskan artist. Look at that. That's really nice, Gary. Thank you. I really appreciate this. And this goes a long way to helping my mood. I definitely will enjoy this. Not mint, but not beat either. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I thought what I would do is just talk a little bit, per the request of Mr. Hall of Fame, about the making of Dereck 3 a little bit, okay? Or what's behind it. I do want to say this, Mr. Hall of Fame, Brandon, if you do have some questions, I'd love to answer them specifically, actually. So what I want to say is that the music on Dereck 3, the way that I've been making music, other than the band Digital Sex and some things that I'm doing now, the music that I've made it as a form of therapy, very, very, very upfront and direct and honest. It's a form of self healing. It's also a self-soothing. I make the music as a way of getting things out, as well as trying to capture ideas or feelings or moods. And so I really needed to be understood that these songs that are on Dereck 3 weren't made with the idea that I'm making a record for someone or that I'm making a record at all. Some of the songs, like for example, Morning I Rise, the very first track on there, I recorded that sometime in the 90s. Jonas from Sweden, Sublime Media, is the first person to either notice or be willing to share that he notices imperfections in the songs, you know, like the beat on Morning I Rise. I'm not completely on the beat throughout the song. I kind of slide back and forth. I have other recordings of the song, but I kept that one to share with people because ultimately, more than anything else, it captured what I was feeling at the time when I wanted to get it to that point. It is not like the definitive version. I could make a much better version. I could develop the idea a lot more. Most of the ideas on the album could be developed a lot more. But the music was made here in this room. I've been living in this house since 1990, I believe, something like that. All that music that you hear on that album, except for Bright Lights, was recorded in this room. I've never taken any classes in engineering. I really don't know technically what I'm doing. I just try to capture the sound as best as I can at the moment. I'm personally I find it remarkable what I've been able to do, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. If you saw how I work, and if you knew how much I don't know what I'm doing, I think some of you would be even more amazed. And maybe some of you would be the opposite. But that's just the way it is. You know, the spectrum, both sides are always present. But the only song that was recorded on there since I've joined the VC that I can think of for sure is The Beginning. That one, I recorded it again here in this room, trying to that one was an idea. It was a bass line. The way it starts, that's what it was based on. I picked up the bass, and the idea of doing these chords, 2-note chords, came to me, and it just went from there. My versions, my mixes, as I got to the one that I put on the album, had a lot of imperfections, a lot. And I smoothed out a lot of them. It's still not to the point where it could be, but that's the only new one that I recorded. It was still done, basically doing my process, which is, this is a self-indulgent, creative, therapeutic endeavor I'm doing. I'm not ever making this music with the idea in mind that I'm making it for an audience to hear. I want you to hear it, but I really need to be understood. I know that there are a lot of quote-unquote hogs and mistakes on here. That's why the overall response to the album is so wonderful to me, because I've always, again, I'm being really honest here, I've always struggled with the idea that, man, listen to this music. This is really good, but compared to what is on the radio or what most people are listening to, I'm not hearing stuff like this. I don't know if it's any good for anyone else. I know I love it, but that's why it's taken me so long to share a lot of this, because I just didn't know whether or not it was any good, if it would be good enough for you people. You know what I'm saying? And so I am ready for the critical feedback, and I accept it, and that's why I'm letting you know that objectively I realize these things. I'm not fooling myself thinking I made a perfect record. Like I said, I'm trying to explain I wasn't trying to, and I think it should inform you quite a bit the fact that I didn't make this for you guys. I mean, the music. I made the record for me and you all, as it says on the back, dedicated to the VC. But this music was made for Dereck. I wasn't trying to impress a girl. I've written some songs for girls, No, it's very, very, very self-indulgent, and so it's um that's what I can share. Bass lament, which people really connect to, just fell off of the bass. That wasn't planned at all. I bought this red bass, this Dean. I bought this bass. I need to get it worked on. These are stripped or some kind of shit. But I bought this bass. Up to that point, it was the nicest bass that I had ever owned. I'd always owned used crap basses. And it just sounded so nice and felt so wonderful that those chords on the bass, just I followed them. You know what I'm saying? I heard it, I captured it, and I followed it. It was that simple. And I just allowed myself to express what I was feeling at that moment. That's it. So again, it's just fantastic, the response. People overall, people are feeling and hearing that this is not a product. It wasn't made for an audience. I'm not thinking about a market. None of that shit. It was me in this room, a lot of times very tired, depressed, stoned at times, trying to make the day better, just trying to. And you hear most of you hear it. One of the most consistent things I hear about people's response is how relaxing and just how nice the music is, and that is literally where it was coming from and where the music is coming from me. I want to make some nice music for me. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for all kinds of things, but ultimately what I really like is nice music. Bo Hansen is some of the nicest music I've ever heard. Sakamoto, some of the nicest music I've ever heard. By contrast, Merzbow is not nice music. Boris is not nice music. That's a whole nother story and a whole nother part of my psyche that music is affecting and touching. It's just as important, just as vital. And at times I attempt to express myself in those kinds of modes. I actually have a bunch of material like that I'd love to put that stuff on vinyl, but it's like, I can't sell it but to 3 people, you know what I'm saying? So that's where my thoughts are at. To return to the most important thing I want to share is Sundodger Gary. Thank you so much for this. This is just what I'm looking for. And the timing is perfect because, like I said, you all know I just quit my job, so I'm pinching pennies right now until I know better how I'm going to be able to, acquire income. I do need to continue to make an income. And so until I'm really more solid about how that's going to happen, I won't be buying very much at all. Which I was aware of would happen when I quit my job. I didn't do this half-cocked at all, people. No, not at all. Not at all. But I'm not living to acquire things. I'm not living to consume. I'm not living to be a good capitalist. I'm living to live. So if my record dang buys are over, if my record buying days are over, they are. I'm looking because there's a UPS truck, and I said I didn't order anything, and I didn't. It's my neighbor. I'm just always trying to reflect that I'm really just trying my best to deal with with reality best I can, from my own perspective. You know, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm not dumb, and I think that's one of the things that does get tweaked a little bit by people's comments. Y'all don't know about my life and how I've dealt with that all my life. You know, the perception that, you know, that somehow Dereck is either dumb or kind of stupid or naive. I've said it before, and I really think it's true, especially now, knowing what I know about autism. I think I'm autistic to a degree. I mean, I've always, up until my adult years, I've had to look around for social cues as to how to react to things, because there are many things where people are having all these emotions and all these reactions, and I'm not really quite understanding, and so I had to kind of mimic until I do understand. So also with that, I give myself a lot of credit. I don't know if it's true. I just know I'm not a regular Joe like a lot of people around me. I'm not, you know, and that's not a diss to them. It's not a diss to me either. I'm just trying to reflect honestly, you know, what I've been experiencing, what I continue to experience. You know, it's very possible I'm mildly or just plain autistic, and this is how I've managed. You know what I'm saying? Because there is no book that can be written on autism or those sorts of syndromes, because it's not fully understood, fully known. Even the experts aren't experts on it. You know what I'm saying? Someone can dispute me and say, "Oh, Dereck, probably what you're saying isn't true," but you don't know that. Like I don't know that. I'm supposing out loud that it could very well be. Very well could be, you know. So it's my experience. No one else is inside of this body, inside of this skin, inside this head. So I'm not having somebody else tell me, "Oh, Dereck, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, you don't either. I smile because I want you all to understand. I'm just trying to be as direct and straight as I can, which is one of those aspects they say about people with autism, is that a lot of that shading of emotional stuff, that and emotional baggage, I call it, that a lot of normal people have with everything they do and say, it's not there. You know, the autistic person just says, bloop, does, bloop. You cut to the chase because that's what's really there. And that's how I am. It's not really always all that easy to be like this, but it's the way it is. So yeah, I don't be suffering fools too much in my real life, and on here on the internet, where you have to deal with the wild frontier. As much as I can, I'm not having it here either. You know, I don't deserve to be treated badly by anyone, anyone. And last thing I'll say, anyone that interprets my behavior on here as being disrespectful or bad to other people, that's a misread. Seriously, I think all you have to do is watch my videos again and listen to what I'm saying, and look at who I am consistently to see that that's the truth. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings personally. I'm here to express my reality. Some of those things may be taken by others hurtfully or angrily, but that my intention isn't to hurt you personally. And so I'm not having people, especially who don't know me, try to hurt me personally. Back to the original intent. Thank you, Sundodger1.